We were told comfort was the goal. That success meant finally being free from struggle, from the grind, from uncertainty. But that lie has quietly stolen our fire. Men today are drowning in comfort while starving for purpose. We scroll, we consume, we stay entertained, yet somehow we feel hollow. The world told us that peace would come from removing friction, but the truth is, peace only grows in the soil of resistance. Someone once said, innovation starts in discomfort. They were right. You wake up and your phone is already glowing. Notifications, expectations, noise. You check your messages, your feeds, your emails, hoping for some spark, some sense of progress. But by the time you leave the bed, you're already exhausted. Not from action, but from reaction. You've become comfortable in chaos. Your body sits in softness, but your mind is on fire. You crave change, yet you fear disruption. The paradox of the modern man is that he is both overwhelmed and under-challenged. He feels the weight of the world, yet lives in a world padded by convenience. Technology has given us everything, except meaning. AI writes our words, algorithms shape our desires, and yet, deep inside, we sense a quiet decay. The hunger that once drove men to build, to conquer, to create, has been replaced by a quiet addiction to ease. And in that ease, innovation dies. Not just the innovation of machines, but the innovation of self, the daily reinvention that made men powerful. Epictetus once said, difficulties show a person's character. The Stoics believed that suffering wasn't something to be avoided, but something to be mastered. A man's growth depended on his ability to stand still in the storm and smile. To not wish for an easier life, but for stronger shoulders. Every discomfort, every failure, every unknown moment, that's where strength hides. That's where clarity begins. We forgot that growth hurts. Muscles tear before they grow. Skin burns before it hardens. And so does the mind. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the forge. It's the test that shapes you into the man you were meant to be. The innovators of every era, from Da Vinci to Elon Musk, weren't born out of luxury, they were born out of tension. They saw the gap between what is and what could be, and instead of running from it, they walked straight into it. In 2025, the modern battlefield isn't physical, it's mental. Every ping, every alert, every dopamine hit, it's pulling your mind away from the frontier of discomfort. But here's the truth, boredom is a call to build. Anxiety is a call to act. Fear is a call to focus. When you start to see discomfort not as punishment but as potential, everything changes. Today, take one step into discomfort. It doesn't have to be massive. Take a cold shower. Delete an app. Sit alone in silence for 10 minutes. Start the project you've been avoiding because it scares you. Let yourself feel that inner resistance, and instead of running from it, breathe through it. That's where transformation begins. You don't need to wait for the perfect plan. You just need to move toward what feels uncertain. Because that's the birthplace of innovation, not the comfort zone, not the routine, but the edge. The edge where fear meets action. That's where you become creative, adaptive, alive. When you live too safe, you stop evolving. When you stop evolving, you start decaying. The discomfort you fear is the very place where your next version lives. Remember this, everything you want, strength, purpose, discipline, innovation, lives on the other side of friction. Comfort dulls your instincts. Challenge sharpens them. You are not designed to drift through ease. You were designed to endure, to adapt, to create under pressure. When life feels uncertain, that's the signal. It means you're standing at the frontier of growth. Let it be uncomfortable. Let it be messy. Because on the other side of discomfort is clarity, power, and peace. Real peace. The kind you earn, not the kind you consume. So as the music rises, imagine yourself standing in that space between who you are and who you could be. Feel the tension. Feel the pull. Then step forward. Because someone once said, innovation starts in discomfort. And they were right. It's not just about building something new. It's about rebuilding yourself, piece by piece, moment by moment, until the man staring back at you isn't afraid of the unknown anymore. You are not meant to avoid the fire. You are meant to walk through it and emerge transformed. That is how innovation begins. That is how a man is reborn. The comfort you crave will never give you the life you desire. But the discomfort you embrace, that will. You've been told to chase happiness, to build a life where everything feels stable, predictable, safe. But deep down, you already know that's not what you're built for. Because every time life gets too easy, you start to feel uneasy. Every time you remove all friction, you start to drift. The truth is, men don't lose themselves in pain, they lose themselves in comfort. Comfort is quiet decay. It doesn't scream, it whispers, slowly convincing you that this is enough. Until one day, you wake up and realize you've stopped growing. You see it everywhere. Men who once dreamed big, now quietly scrolling through other people's victories. Men who once had a mission, now drowning in distraction. Their fire didn't go out in one dramatic moment. It faded, one click, one comfort, one compromise at a time. We are surrounded by everything designed to keep us comfortable. Endless entertainment, instant gratification, shortcuts for every challenge. Yet the more we indulge, the less we feel alive. You've probably felt it too. That low-grade anxiety that lingers even when everything seems fine. You can't quite name it, but you feel it in your chest, in your gut. It's not depression, it's stagnation. It's the weight of unused potential pressing against the walls of a life that's too easy. Your soul knows when it's been domesticated. And no amount of comfort can silence that call. The samurai had a word for this, kaizen, the continuous pursuit of improvement. It wasn't just about skill or discipline. It was about staying sharp in a world that dulls you. Musashi, the great swordsman, once said, "If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything." He wasn't just talking about combat, but about life itself. The way of the warrior was a mindset, never staying still, never settling, always evolving through deliberate challenge. Modern life has replaced the sword with a screen. But the fight remains the same. The battlefield is internal. Every day, you are either sharpening or dulling your edge. There is no middle ground. The moment you choose comfort over challenge, ease over effort, you are training your mind to retreat. You are teaching yourself to stay small. And yet, the opposite is also true. Every time you step into discomfort, when you lift heavier, speak truth, learn a new skill, or face a fear, you reclaim a piece of your power. In a world that glorifies comfort, discomfort becomes your competitive advantage. Think about it, most people avoid it. They'll scroll instead of think, complain instead of create, escape instead of endure. But you can choose differently. You can choose to lean into resistance, knowing it's the birthplace of innovation and strength. The moment you stop chasing ease and start chasing growth, your world shifts. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Here's something practical. Each day, do one thing that makes you uncomfortable on purpose. Not recklessly, but intentionally. Something that stretches you, mentally, physically, emotionally. Have that hard conversation. Wake up earlier. Turn your phone off for an hour. Take the risk you've been postponing. Feel the tension, the awkwardness, the uncertainty. That's your mind expanding. Growth never feels like growth while it's happening. It feels like resistance. It feels like failure. But on the other side, something in you unlocks. The greatest danger today isn't failure, it's comfort. Failure teaches. Comfort sedates. A man who has failed 100 times still has fire. But a man who's never struggled has no spark. He's too safe, too soft, too easily swayed by the noise of others. You were not built to be safe. You were built to adapt, to endure, to rise again and again, reshaped by the storms you face. So when the day gets heavy and you feel the urge to escape, don't. Sit with it. Breathe into it. There's gold buried beneath that discomfort. That's where your real innovation begins, not in the moments of ease, but in the moments when you want to quit and don't. When you resist the pull of distraction. When you stay disciplined even when no one's watching. That's when you start to rebuild the man the world tried to soften. Remember, growth isn't supposed to feel good. It's supposed to feel necessary. Like pressure molding you into something stronger, clearer, more capable. When you start viewing pain as information rather than punishment, you unlock the mindset of warriors, inventors, creators, men who thrive in chaos because they've trained in discomfort. As the scene fades in your mind, picture yourself standing at the edge of what's familiar, looking out into the unknown. You can feel the fear, the hesitation, the temptation to stay where it's safe. But somewhere deep inside, you know the truth. Safety is the slowest form of death. So you take a breath, square your shoulders, and step forward anyway. Because someone once said, innovation starts in discomfort. They weren't talking about machines or markets. They were talking about men. Men like you, who choose to trade comfort for courage, ease for evolution, and the known for the possible. The world doesn't need more comfort. It needs men willing to walk into the fire of uncertainty and build something new, starting with themselves. You've been conditioned to believe that control equals peace. That if you can manage every variable, eliminate every risk, life will finally feel steady. But control is a fragile illusion. And the harder you try to hold everything still, the faster it slips through your fingers. The truth is, life was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to be navigated. And in that navigation, discomfort is not your enemy. It's your compass. Look around you. We live in an era obsessed with predictability. We want algorithms to tell us what to do, what to buy, what to think. Every decision outsourced, every path pre-calculated. But in this quest for certainty, we've lost the beauty of uncertainty, the magic of the unknown, the spontaneous pulse of life that makes us human. When everything is predictable, nothing feels alive. Men today carry invisible stress, the pressure to appear composed, successful, unfazed, to keep up with a pace set by machines, not men. You wake up with your chest tight, your mind already sprinting. You scroll through highlight reels of lives that seem effortless, and quietly, you start to feel behind. You start to believe that everyone else has it figured out, that you're the only one stumbling. But here's the truth. No one has control. Everyone's guessing, adapting, falling, and rebuilding. The difference between those who thrive and those who fade is simple. One group learns to dance with uncertainty. The other tries to cage it. Lao Tzu once said, "He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough." The wisdom in that line isn't about giving up, it's about flow. About understanding that life moves like water, unpredictable and untamable. The more you resist its current, the more it breaks you. But when you learn to flow with it, to adjust, to adapt, to stay calm amidst the chaos, you become unshakable. Because you stop needing control to find peace. Modern innovation thrives on this principle. Every great breakthrough started with uncertainty. No clear roadmap, no guarantee of success. Just a willingness to explore, to fail, to adapt. That's how every great man has built something timeless, not by eliminating chaos, but by learning to harness it. That's what innovation really is, turning the unknown into opportunity. You have that same power. But it starts with letting go. Letting go of the need to know every step. Letting go of the fantasy that comfort equals progress. Letting go of the idea that fear is a stop sign. Fear is just feedback. It tells you where to look, not where to hide. The more you lean into what scares you, the more you expand your range. Discomfort is not chaos, it's direction. Here's something simple yet powerful. Practice surrender. Once a day, do something without knowing the outcome. Say yes to something uncertain. Walk without your phone. Speak your truth without rehearsing it. Make a decision from intuition instead of logic. Let yourself feel the discomfort of uncertainty without trying to fix it. That's how you train your nervous system to handle the unknown, to stay grounded even when nothing around you feels stable. The truth is, control is brittle. It breaks under pressure. But adaptability, that's fluid. That's power. The man who adapts cannot be destroyed. He only transforms. When plans fall apart, he doesn't collapse, he recalibrates. When people change, he doesn't cling, he evolves. When life shifts, he shifts with it. That's the modern warrior, not the man who resists change, but the one who thrives in it. And right now, in this age of rapid change, AI rising, industries collapsing, attention fractured, adaptability isn't optional. It's survival. The man who clings to the past will crumble. The one who embraces the discomfort of the new will rise. Innovation begins the moment you stop fighting change and start learning from it. So the next time life feels uncertain, remember this. The discomfort you feel is growth in motion. It's your old identity being stripped away, so a stronger one can emerge. Don't rush to fix it. Don't rush to numb it. Breathe into it. Because that's how wisdom enters. Through the cracks discomfort creates. As the music swells, imagine yourself standing in a storm, not running from it, not shielding yourself, but letting the rain wash away everything you thought you needed to control. You lift your face to the sky, drenched, uncertain, yet strangely calm. Because for the first time, you understand that peace was never about control. It was about trust. Trust in your ability to adapt. Trust that discomfort isn't chaos, it's the sound of transformation. Someone once said, innovation starts in discomfort. They were right, because it's in those moments when you're forced to release your grip, to surrender your illusions, that true creativity awakens. You stop surviving and start creating. You stop managing and start leading. You stop existing and start living. That's where innovation lives. That's where you live, fully, fearlessly free. We've been told that motivation is about excitement, about feeling fired up and inspired. But that's another lie that keeps men weak. Motivation isn't energy. It's endurance. It's what you do when there's no spark left, when no one's watching, when comfort whispers that you've done enough. The truth is, every man reaches that quiet war inside, where he must decide whether to push through the pain or to retreat into the warmth of mediocrity. You know the feeling. It's 6 a.m., the alarm goes off, and your body begs for 5 more minutes. Or maybe it's midnight, your screen glowing, another episode autoplaying while your goals collect dust. It's that subtle negotiation between who you are and who you could be. And most men lose that battle, not because they're weak, but because the world has convinced them that ease is earned, that they've deserved a break. But if you're always seeking comfort, you're never building strength. The modern man is tired, but not from work, from resistance, from fighting himself, from trying to find meaning in things that don't require effort. Comfort has become our new cage, and the bars aren't made of steel. They're made of dopamine, distraction, and doubt. You're not failing because you lack discipline. You're failing because you're surrounded by everything designed to destroy it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." It's a reminder that obstacles aren't roadblocks, they're the path itself. The universe doesn't hand you resistance to punish you. It hands it to you to prepare you. Every hard thing you face is an invitation to evolve. Every struggle is a mirror reflecting your potential. But most men run from that mirror. They avoid the hard things. They settle for small victories, like comfort, cheap validation. And then they wonder why life feels hollow. The truth is, fulfillment doesn't come from winning easily. It comes from fighting something worthy. You don't build character in comfort. You build it in challenge. You don't discover purpose in pleasure. You find it in persistence. In this world of instant everything, endurance has become a lost art. The ability to stay, to remain focused, to push through when the excitement fades, that's rare now. But that's where innovation happens. Every great creator, warrior, thinker, they all share one trait. They stayed through boredom, through doubt, through the long, dark hours of silence. They didn't wait for inspiration, they built it. They understood that the mind becomes sharp through repetition, not reward. So here's a simple challenge. Build something for 30 days straight. It doesn't matter what it is. A routine, a skill, a new habit. But commit to it every day, without fail, especially when you don't feel like it. Because those moments, when your mind resists, when your motivation dies, those are the moments that shape you. Every rep you complete in discomfort rewires your mind to associate pain with progress, not punishment. Discomfort becomes your ally. It's your internal coach, your silent mentor. It's the one thing that will never lie to you. When it hurts, it means you're alive. When it's uncomfortable, it means you're growing. The moment you stop feeling resistance is the moment you stop moving forward. In a world obsessed with hacks and shortcuts, endurance is revolutionary. Anyone can start. Few can continue. That's why persistence separates the dreamers from the builders, the talkers from the doers. Your consistency will outlast their talent. Your endurance will outlive their excitement. That's how legacies are built, slowly, painfully, but permanently. When you train yourself to endure discomfort, you start to see life differently. You no longer avoid the hard path, you choose it. Because you know that's where transformation hides. You stop chasing fleeting motivation and start cultivating discipline. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating them. So when your mind says, "I can't do this," reframe it. Tell yourself, "I'm training for what's next," because you are. Every time you choose the harder option, you're building the foundation for a future self who's unshakable. You're not chasing motivation anymore. You're building momentum. And momentum is stronger than motivation. It doesn't fade, it compounds. As the music swells, picture yourself in the middle of that struggle, the moment you want to give up. The room is quiet. The world is asleep. And you are there, pushing, creating, enduring. You can feel the discomfort clawing at you, begging you to quit. But you don't. Because you've realized something powerful. This pain, this resistance, this discomfort, it's not your enemy. It's your evolution and progress. Someone once said, innovation starts in discomfort. They were right. Because it's in those moments when comfort is calling and you choose to stay the course, that something inside you changes forever. You stop being a man who waits for the right moment. You become the man who creates it. You stop being shaped by your circumstances. You start shaping them. That's the quiet power of endurance. It's not loud. It's not flashy. But it's eternal. Because the man who learns to stay uncomfortable stays unstoppable. Every man wants to change his life, but few are willing to change his habits. We dream of transformation, yet we refuse to confront the small, daily moments where change truly happens. We want a new life, but we keep living the same day. Comfort tells us to wait until we feel ready. But readiness is an illusion. You will never feel ready to face the unknown. You simply have to step into it anyway. The truth is, most men live in cycles, not of failure, but of avoidance. We start strong, then retreat the moment the struggle begins. We crave the result but avoid the process. And the process is where greatness hides. You can't reinvent yourself without tearing down what you were before. You can't innovate your life without discomfort as your blueprint. It's not supposed to feel easy, that's the point. Growth demands the death of who you used to be. Every morning, you have two choices. You can repeat what feels safe, or you can repeat what will make you stronger. One leads to comfort. The other leads to transformation. The men who change the world, or even just their own world, aren't necessarily smarter or luckier. They simply make one decision. They choose the harder path consistently. While others search for motivation, they rely on systems. While others wait for signs, they act. While others chase feeling, they chase direction. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. This wasn't just philosophy, it was instruction. You become your rituals. You become your repetition. You become the things you do when no one is watching. Modern life tempts us to think that change is a single breakthrough moment, but it's not. It's hundreds of small, uncomfortable choices stacked on top of each other until your old life can't recognize you anymore. The danger of comfort is that it rewards you immediately and punishes you quietly. You feel good today, but you weaken tomorrow. You skip the workout, and nothing bad happens, at least not yet. You procrastinate the hard conversation, and the world stays still, at least for now. But these small retreats accumulate. They build invisible chains around your potential. Until one day, you realize you become a prisoner in a life you built by avoiding discomfort. To break that cycle, you don't need to overhaul your entire world. You just need to shift your relationship with discomfort. Start seeing it as a signal, not a stop. Every time something feels hard, boring, or intimidating, it's pointing directly at the place you should grow next. That's your map. Your resistance reveals your next evolution. Try this. Each day, identify one thing you've been avoiding. One task, one habit, one truth. Don't overthink it. You already know what it is. Then face it no matter how small. Send a message. Make the call. Begin the project. Confront the truth. It won't feel comfortable, but it will feel alive. And that's the goal, to feel alive again. Discomfort is proof that you're participating in your own becoming. The man who trains himself to act in discomfort becomes unstoppable because his power no longer depends on conditions. He no longer needs the perfect mindset, the perfect plan, the perfect timing. He moves because he must, because that's who he's become. His actions are not reactions, they're principles in motion. And principles outlast moods. In the digital world, everything is optimized for ease. But the life you want will never be built by ease. It will be built by endurance, by clarity, by focus, all born in discomfort. When you scroll instead of create, when you react instead of reflect, you're giving your potential away. But when you choose to face friction, even for 5 minutes, you reclaim it. That's how you rebuild your life, one uncomfortable decision at a time. So the next time your mind screams, "Not today," remember this: it's not trying to protect you. It's trying to preserve who you are now. And you are trying to become someone new. That tension, that inner war, is the birthplace of innovation. You are innovating your own mind, reshaping your own reality. As the music builds, imagine yourself standing in front of the mirror, not the digital reflection, but the real one. The one that shows your exhaustion, your doubts, your scars. You look at yourself, not with judgment, but with understanding. You realize you've been waiting for change to come from the outside. But change doesn't arrive. It's forged. It's built in silence, in struggle, in discomfort. Someone once said, "Innovation starts in discomfort." They were right. Because innovation isn't just about invention, it's about reinvention. Reinventing your habits, your discipline, your identity. And when you start seeing discomfort as creation instead of suffering, your entire world expands. You stop fearing hard days because you understand their purpose. You stop chasing easy wins because you've tasted the satisfaction of earned growth. Every great man you admire didn't find peace by escaping discomfort. He found peace by mastering it. And now it's your turn. Start small, stay steady, and keep stepping into the unknown. The discomfort won't destroy you. It will define you. Because innovation doesn't begin in the lab. It begins in the mirror, and the man who dares to face what he fears most. There comes a moment in every man's life when silence becomes deafening. When the noise of ambition, distraction, and fear fades, and you're left alone, just you, your thoughts, and the truth. It's not the world that scares you anymore. It's the realization that you've been holding yourself back. Not because you lacked opportunity, but because you avoided discomfort. The comfort that once felt safe has become suffocating. You've outgrown it, and now there's no going back. You look around and see a generation numbing itself, drowning in endless stimulation, mistaking motion for progress. But movement without purpose is just noise. The modern man is overstimulated, yet underfulfilled. Surrounded by technology, yet starved for meaning. Every comfort has become a new form of avoidance. We avoid boredom with screens. We avoid fear with excuses. We avoid growth with busyness. And slowly, quietly, we drift away from the life we're meant to live. There's an ancient proverb that says, "The obstacle is the path." It's a truth so old we've forgotten its power. Because we've been taught to see pain as punishment instead of preparation. To see discomfort as danger instead of direction. But the wise, the warriors, the philosophers, the builders, they understood the secret. Discomfort isn't chaos. It's the curriculum. Every hardship you face is the universe showing you what still needs to be built within you. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. We waste it chasing comfort. We waste it waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect mindset. But none of those exist. The only perfect moment is now, the moment you choose to stop avoiding discomfort and start embracing it as your teacher. That's when life begins to open up. That's when you stop surviving and start evolving." In 2025, the world rewards adaptability more than ever. The ones who thrive aren't the smartest or the strongest. They're the ones who stay flexible under pressure. The ones who see discomfort not as failure, but as feedback. Every rejection, every setback, every unknown outcome, that's not a wall. It's a doorway. The difference between the man who quits and the man who grows is simply the decision to keep walking through it. But to do that, you have to let go of the old version of yourself, the one addicted to safety. The one who needs everything figured out. Growth is the process of dying to who you were so you can become who you were meant to be. That's not poetic, it's practical. You can't evolve while clinging to your old identity. You can't innovate while protecting what's familiar. True growth feels like loss before it feels like freedom. So here's the final challenge. Stop running from discomfort and start seeking it intentionally. Every day, find one thing that stretches you. Speak up when you'd rather stay quiet. Take action when your fear says wait. Push through the resistance that whispers, "Not today," Because every time you do, you break the chain of comfort that's kept you small. You reclaim the part of you that still believes in more courage, more creativity, more life. Discomfort won't destroy you. Avoidance will. You can't grow in a space that never challenges you. And yet, the irony is, most men spend their lives trying to make things easier, not realizing that ease is the enemy of evolution. When everything feels smooth, your edges dull. When everything feels certain, your hunger dies. That's why innovation begins in discomfort, because discomfort keeps you awake. It keeps you questioning, creating, reaching. And maybe that's what this whole journey has been about. Not about finding comfort, but about finding clarity. The clarity that comes from pain, from persistence, from the refusal to quit when quitting is easy. You've walked through doubt, distraction, fear, and every time you chose discomfort, you uncovered a deeper layer of strength. That's innovation. Not the invention of machines, but the reinvention of self. So stand still for a moment. Feel the weight of your journey, the resistance you've faced, the comfort you've outgrown, the man you've become. You've learned to embrace what others avoid. You've learned that pain has purpose, that the unknown isn't something to fear, it's something to explore. You've learned that innovation doesn't just start in discomfort. It stays there. Because every time you step into it, you create something new, in the world and within yourself. And as the final notes swell, remember this truth. Life will never stop challenging you. The storms will never stop coming. But that's not something to fear. That's something to embrace. Because it means you're alive. It means you're still growing. It means you're still becoming. Someone once said, innovation starts in discomfort. They were right. But what they didn't say is that it also ends there, because discomfort never leaves you. It evolves with you. It sharpens you. It reminds you every day that you are capable of more. You are not meant to be comfortable. You are meant to be capable. You are meant to create. And that is where true innovation lives. Not in the machines, not in the markets, but in the man who dares to stay uncomfortable long enough to become something extraordinary.